Yeah. Don't forget you're the one who have to admit, like to allow them to join. Like if there's someone there.
Okay.
Yeah, so just check.
So far, okay. Someone joined. Just wait for the others to join. Let's see right now. I think we can start the session around 10, like 10 past. Yeah?
Yeah, yeah, 10 past.
Okay.
And put like a note there, like session will start 10 past. You know, with Zoom or this thing.
8. Okay.
Whiteboard, notes and stuff. Okay. Yeah. US states. So what are we analyzing today? I think we can start with US states and then also do GBP, JPY. Then we'll see what others suggest. But then the main thing which I want to share today is psychology. Like people really
So
underestimate like trading psychology.
psychology. Nah, that's true, man.
Either they don't
That's,
understand what is trading psychology or they just underestimate it. What?
I feel like, yeah, I feel like it's more of like a knowledge thing. Most people aren't really aware how psychology actually impacts like your trading. They think most people actually focus more on the technical side of things rather
Yeah.
than the psychological part of things. Uh, yeah, so I think okay. Now let's just wait 5 more minutes, guys, and then we'll start the session. We're just waiting for people to join. And hey, and speaking of like guest stage talk, remember like the analysis we had, like remember the analysis we had like on I think it was during the week where we like noticed like the bullish movement straight from
Yeah.
this candlestick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I don't know, like from my expectations, I feel like we'll see more bullish movements on your strategy, like in the upcoming weeks.
Yeah. 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 In the
Yeah.
upcoming like weeks, US dates will be like bullish now. We're in a
Yeah.
retracement, but I feel like the retracement is now over. We're
As
starting to
now,
see.
yeah,
So now it's a matter of you like waiting for a retracement and then looking for areas where you can buy like at a good area because you don't just want to buy anywhere.
yeah, true.
Now we can start because okay, I'll be recording this. Yeah, this
Mm.
session. Send it after. It's fine. Those who join will join, and those who do not join, it's their problem.
Yeah, I think we can focus on yesterday from like what the past 2 weeks, no?
Hmm.
Okay, so let me just bring it here. Okay, guys, so looking at GS30, like we see like bullish movements, like all the way from like GS30 has been bullish. And since we're day traders, like we don't want to focus on like the other side or the other weeks. We just want to focus just slow, like just simply on this area here, right? So what we see, what I like to do firstly, every time I go like in the markets is do like a top-down analysis. Hence, you see I'm on the weekly chart, right? So I first mark my zones. So the first zone that I see on the weekly is this one. Let me use this. Um, is this one right here, and then I use a different color, just red, and okay, text. Um, Says weekly, right? I just like marking out the zones to show that okay, this is a weekly zone. And then going into the daily, what we see is price first did like it gave us touches, yeah. Price like it gave us the first touch, second touch, and third touch. Let me just make it like a zone so that it's much more clear. And the third touch. So looking at price from here, it bounced off here, it bounced off here, it bounced off here, indicating that this is a strong support because it gave us like three touches, at least three touches. So price moved up, right? And then it broke here, it broke the resistance, went up, and then it came back and retested. So far, here's what we see. So I can also mark this high, different color, and call it the daily, right? And then when we go to the H4, this is what we see. This is what we see. Price hit this resistance, came back down to the support, then retested it. It went up. It formed like a minor support. I won't say this is a strong support. I'll call it a minor support right here. So depending on what you trade, right? If you trade like break and retest, what you do is simply like wait for price to give you a retest, and then you exit at the next high basically. So the next high that we see is this one, but then keep in mind that price might also respect this area right here, given that like first it broke and then it retested here and then it went up. From this zone we saw like bullish movements, right? And then what I simply like to do is make my risk to reward like 1:2. Okay, I just put it like somewhere here. Uh, let's see how it plays out. Let's see how it plays out. So we got triggered right now, right? Our entries got triggered. So simply like what most traders would do, since this session is based on psychology, right? I'm sure a lot of traders like seeing this the first bearish movement, they think that okay, price is going against them. This is where a lot of emotions play, and then some people, instead of them sticking to like their plan, in my case, I trade a break and retest. They just simply exit for no reason, just because they saw like small losses instead of waiting for price to just go to what their SL if it's a losing trade, right?
Yeah. Before we move on, bro, can you also explain why you chose to put like a risk reward of 1:2,
Yeah.
not something ridiculous like 1:20 or something?
Thing is, how many times do people like? I feel like some risk to rewards are actually unrealistic. Like if you're trying to aim for one is to 20, how many times will you actually like catch? Like how many times will you actually catch like trades like that? I feel like I won't say impossible, but then it's just too much of a reach. Because even in this case, if I made this 1:20, just 1:4 already, we're having plus 1,000 pips. How many times does price give us like such a movement? Let me just say in a day or even in a week, right? But I get that this is USDT. Sometimes it happens, but then like targets like that for me are just simply They just don't make sense. Or some people simply just choose to put their stop loss tight. But if my stop loss was tight, price would have kicked me out. And then, like, yeah, I would have been out by now. You see?
Mm.
So let's just see how it plays out.
And then another thing, I want you to also focus on like managing your wait, just pause it a
Trade.
bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
managing your trades because most people, man, they will let the trade run and come close to your TP instead of them like
Yeah.
reducing their stop loss,
A stop
trailing
loss.
stocks, putting it like into areas where like you're locking, like you have to lock profits as you make money, you see. So things
Yeah.
such as so as you like you play the feature, also try to explain that.
Like so, okay, so usually this is how I manage my trade. If you guys notice, the zone that I marked like previously, like this one, like price actually broke off, like it gave us like bullish movement to the upside. So usually at times like this, simply because I saw price break another zone, that's why I try shifting my SL, let me just say to break even. So let me just do this and then SL shifted to break even, right? So yeah, as soon as I see price broke, as soon as I notice that price broke off, like here, I just put my my SL to break even. So now I'm having a risk-free trade compared to like the first time where let me just say, depending on your risk tolerance, if you're risking like 5% or 10%. So this is what we get. So price took so basically right now, if you notice, compared to the first time where I would have been taken out, let me just say at the like at my SL, which was a -1%, if I was risking 1%. Now basically price took me out at break even. Remember, like losses are part of the game, guys. There's no trader who actually doesn't take losses. Okay. So this is like, yeah, I feel like right now I can actually give a better example on like psychology. So with most people noticing that okay, price actually didn't play out as like predicted because most people would see like price just turn like simply like close to TP. This happens, guys. Like it happens a lot where your price might turn like close like to your TP. Let me just say like a few pips. So most people in this case they'd rather revenge just because they saw like basically things like this happening. They took a loss and then emotions came into play because they don't like losing, right? As traders, most traders don't like losing. So this is where you actually have to look at your rules. Like every time, like after taking a loss, you record to your journal, you look at your rules so that you don't make another mistake. Because most people in this case, they'd rather revenge. They took an L. In fact, in this case, it's not even an L because like price basically closed at break even, right? But then most people simply just because they saw like profits, they'd wanna revenge because they'd wanna see those profits again. So instead of them sticking to their plan, like in this case, so focusing only on like what break and retest and their strategy, they try revenging, which is not a good thing.
Yeah, can
So
you also try to like show like in the 1 hour time frame like how is it like?
okay, yeah. So basically on the H1, this is what we see. So price broke up. It retested our like it retested the zone. It went up, was forming like an uptrend, and then what we noticed is it didn't respect. Like after that, it gave us like a few bullish candles, and then it broke off this zone which I marked. The reason the zone which actually made me to shift my SL to like break even, broke it, and then we got bullish movements to the downside, right? So okay. So what we see from here is checking the daily. Let's see. What we see from here depends on what you trade. So if you trade like reversal patterns, this is basically what a reversal. It's what we call a double top or an M formation. So how you trade this, like I use it with like break and retest. So basically there's a neckline, there's this zone which we mark off the weekly, right? So the zone that gave us like 3 touches. So price actually, yeah, this is now our, instead of it becoming our support, it's now our new resistance. So what you do in such a case is you wait for price to actually retest. So since now we got a break, right? What I'd wait for is I'd wait for to see how price closes at first. So this is how price closed. So now I have to wait to actually catch the retest. Just somewhere here. Make it a 1s22. Okay. Retest. And then I'd base my TP off this small zone right here. This small area right here. Wait. So, and then my SL slightly above the support, making it a 1s22, right? Okay. So our order didn't get triggered, right? Our order didn't get triggered. So right now, best thing we can do is simply mark off other zones, right? Our order didn't get triggered. So now price is actually below the zones that we mark. So what I usually like to do when this happens is I just delete like my previous analysis. Um, I delete my previous analysis and then I restart using the zones which are here now because now price is on this side. Okay. So what I do is redo everything that I did from the weekly. Look at the momentum. Momentum is wait. The momentum is bullish, right? Still bullish. The momentum is bullish. I see we might be having like a bullish candlestick here, which is, and then I go back to the mark off my zones again, right? So this is the zone that I see on the daily. Another zone that I see on the daily is this area here, right? Is this area here. I don't know if my chart is clear, guys. But yeah, is this area here. And then another area here. So going back to the H4. This is another area I see, right? So I first wait to see what price does after giving us such a movement. Remember, like most of forex is actually about waiting, guys. Like the biggest part in trading is actually about waiting. Because at the end of the day, you can't see setups like every day. If you have a back-tested strategy that's well thought, you can't see like a setup every day, right? So, okay. Think, yeah. If you notice on the H4, price broke what? It broke off this it broke off this resistance and then it retested it now as a support. So usually what I do is the same strategy that I'm taking, break and retest. I just wait for price to give me another touch because I see it ranging here. And another thing, if you notice this pattern, there's like a double bottom or a double, which are like reversals. Reversal patterns are patterns which usually, like when they appear, price is about to like reverse, it's about to change the direction, right? So what I do in this case is I do this, look for a small 1s to 2 RR, and then wait to get triggered.
Wait,
Just
before you
like,
continue, bro, just explain why you chose to put your stop loss there rather than just right below your support level. Why did you put
okay,
it right below?
okay, okay, if you look at price like here, like we got like a fake out, like basically on this area. So I know that if price basically breaks off this area, there's no way that like there's no way that like my direction is still like it's still right. So for me, this is actually the best area where I can put my SL compared to putting it here, where another fake out, there's a possibility that another fake out might happen, right? And then it'll just kick me out and then maybe take my direction. So I'd rather put it at an area where I feel like, okay, basically if it breaks here, there's no way that price will continue, will be like my direction is right.
And another thing, if you put it there right below your support level, like most people, I feel like they'll put it there because their risk to reward will be very great. Like just try to put it, you'll see you move from 2 to like 6 or,
Six,
or
yeah,
so if
yeah,
you're
I
focusing
noticed.
more like on like profits rather than putting your stop loss at areas which are significant, such that if your stop loss get hit, like you know that your overall analysis are wrong. In this case, you will just be like losing money or just being greedy or in a way. So I feel like yeah, you should consider such things like yeah, those weeks there, like there is a
Yeah,
possibility that the market fakes out again.
again, yeah. So, okay, so let me just move it back. Let's see how it plays out. So we got triggered, right? We got triggered, and this is what the market does. So yeah, so this was like a winning trade. So I want to talk about risk to reward now, guys. If you notice that at first we had a losing trade. So let's just say I was risking like 1%. So it means at first I was 1% down. But just because of my risk to reward, if I was having a 1s to 1 risk to reward, I'd be back at break even. But because it's a 1s to 2 risk to reward, right now I'm 1% up compared to me being like one like at break even if I use like a risk to reward of 1s to 1. So risk to reward actually plays an important role like in trading because if you have let me just say a low risk to reward, like the lower your risk, okay, the if you have like a negative, I call it like a negative risk to reward. Anything below 1s to 1 is just a negative risk to reward because whatever amount you make, you lose. You can't like it's hard to actually make it back and be back in profit. So if you have a 1s to 2 risk to reward, all you need is a 33%, 33.3% win rate to actually be profitable.
And another thing which is that your risk has to be constant. Let's say you decide to take 10 trades in a month. That means all those 10 trades, you must be risking a constant amount. So you don't want to be like risking random amounts at trade one, trade two, trade three. So your risk have to be like constant so that your risk to
Constant,
run
yeah.
can like be can play out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is one of the trades. Okay. So, okay. Looking at price now, if I was take if like using the same strategy that I use, I noticed that price actually broke off like this major resistance zone, right? So what usually I'd wait for is I'd wait for a retest basically to from this zone, and then I'd look for like bullish movements. Some people are what's this are aggressive traders, so I guess maybe they would have entered just right here. But then for me, I just don't find that method like what I don't find it, how can I say it, risk worthy, because it's just aggressive. What if this was a fake out? You see, price would just basically trigger you and then come back down. But then if you actually wait for a retest, you wait for price to actually give you bullish movement, and then you wait for a retest, it's actually much better. So usually what I do is I'd wait to actually catch entries just here up until this zone. Up until this zone, yeah. And one thing you should keep in mind is sometimes your orders won't get triggered, guys. Like sometimes your orders won't get triggered. They don't have to get triggered all the time. And you don't have to write, you don't have to trade basically like every day. Okay. So even if they don't get triggered, rather wait for the next best trade, which is in your direction, than actually trying to just catch any trade, right? So looking at the H1, let's see what the H1 is doing. So, okay, I feel like price already gave us a retest, but let's just say I actually saw price at this time. So we just see whether I'll get triggered or not. So you see, if you notice, like price actually missed my entry by just a few pips. But since I'm not an aggressive trader, I won't really just buy where it's at right now simply because I feel like price missed my entry by a few points. I won't just take entries here simply because I see price moving. I'd rather wait for price to do what I want to see, which is what a break and retest, than actually take entries which are not part of my not part of my trading plan. So okay, we missed an entry. So right now let's just see what price will do. Let's see what price will do. So another key zone that we'll look at is this one. So if price actually breaks the zone and gives us a retest, that's when we actually take we take our entries again. Same thing. And then let's see if price gives us a break. So okay, it broke. Price actually broke. So what I do in this case is I just simply wait for another break and retest. All right.
Yeah, I
But
think
here,
now today, I feel like, yeah, that's where we are currently at, right?
oh yeah, I think
That's
yeah.
where we're currently at. That's where the market is as of today.
As of today. So basically, like let me just explain like what I do in a case like this. So here, instead of like if you guys notice, here's like the high, the next high, but then in this case, there's a support right here. There's a resistance in this case, right? There's a resistance right here. So instead of me waiting for putting my TP, let me just say somewhere here, I'd rather put it here, given the fact that price might respect this area right here. Oh yeah, so it's today, you know. It's what price is at today. Okay, let me just put it here. So we got triggered, and then it took us out, and then it took our direction. Okay. No. Oh, yeah. Nah, I see why. So yeah, I just want to explain. I feel like here, there's like a silly mistake. So if you guys remember what I explained, like here, on why I put this like my SL like here, I think it's the same thing. You see, because if I had actually took notice of what was happening here, I would have known that this area is not a better area to put my SL compared to like simply just below. this zone right here. Okay. But then another thing is the concept of risk to reward. So my risk to reward would still be low. So usually I wouldn't take a trade like this. But then yeah, so I feel like that sums it up. That sums it up. Do you guys have any questions or what do you want us to analyze?
I say like a question in the chat. Someone said, which broker do you guys use to trade indices?
Now for me, like I prefer like for like trading indices, like I use one broker right now. I use like the Rive everything because I prefer like international brokers compared to like local brokers.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I think just to summarize everything, let's just go through the trades which you took, bro. I think you took how many trades? 3 or 4?
I took I
Just
took
go through
three.
them and
I
then
took three.
yeah,
So
just summarize
the
everything.
first yeah, so the first trade I took was somewhere here. Yeah, it was here. Right. Was it here? Yeah, it was here. But basically price my I think it was yeah, it was here. But basically price the think was it here. Oh yeah, it was here. Well, my TP was here. So this trade we got we got triggered and then it missed our TP simply by a few pips, less than 100 pips, right? So
I think
risk to
it was
reward
a
was
little bit to the right. Yeah, push it a little bit to the right.
okay.
Because
So risk
price went like all the way to like stop loss, but then we managed it. Yeah.
Yeah, we managed it and we closed it. Like as soon as price broke here, remember I said that since I see like a potential zone, I see that price is respecting here. I'll shift my stop loss to like break even as soon as it broke this area. I shifted my stop loss to break even and then price hit us and then we're back at break even, right? So the second trade was a win, which basically put us what 2%, yeah, 2% up. And then this last one here, it actually took us out. So basically, like out of three trades, having like one win, we're basically like up 1% based on like risk to reward. So this is like some of the importance of like risk to reward ratios, guys. Because if I was having like let me just say a negative risk to reward, the negative risk to reward is basically something like this, where price is actually you get like your loss, the loss that you take is actually bigger than the profits that you make. But having like a good like risk to reward actually saves you from you can take as many losses. So if you have a risk to reward of 1:2, if you take 7 trades which are losses, all you need is just like 4 trades to be up. Yeah, so I hope that sums up. Do you guys have any other questions? Let me see that. Let me check the chat. Okay. When putting in zones, is it still the same when you change into line graph and plug them, putting them according to the weeks? So, okay, I use different methods of like actually like putting zones, but then this one, like the ones for like the line method, I haven't used it in years, guys. I'm not sure if you're talking about the like this method where you're actually looking for like where price does like what's this things like this. How can I draw? Let me just things like this. Um, and gives you many touches where price like you look for. Yeah, I'm not sure. But then I've once used that method too. I'm not sure if you're talking about it, but I used that method a long time ago. So you basically start at the weekly, you mark off like your zones like on weekly. In this case, you'll mark off here, you'll mark off you mark off here, right? And maybe here, wait, okay, here gave us a night. And then daily go. I'm not sure. Are you talking about that, bro? Like the guy who asked on like line charts and putting zones. Is still the same when you change into line graph and plot them. Like even if you mark with like a line chart, like basically like it'll be the same. Like it's not so much different. Because you see, right now I marked my zones here, right? I marked my zones here on the line chart. But if I change it back to like the candlestick chart, still they're still visible. The zones that I marked are still visible. So I wanted to know if that's what you asked. Okay, yeah. How do you determine your position size? Now, like you determine your position size, there's a website called Forex Calculator. Let me just search it for you fast. It's called Forex Calculator. So with this website, right, you can simply just
No, it's not that.
calculate your
It's not that one.
I think no. But also this one, like if you just search, just go to like the profit calculator and oh yeah, here it is. So what you do, you see Euro USD and then this yeah, Euro USD if you're trading Euro USD, buy or sell, you name your open price. Oh no, this one is for profits. This one calculates profits. Let me look for a calculator, a lot size calculator, yeah. So there are websites like this. You basically just search like lot size calculator, right? Calculator. And then what they do is simply like calculate the lot size for you. Yeah, it's this one. So you go here and then you click USDT, you look for USDT. USDT. You look for USDT and then you write your opening price. Or if you wanna, or you can use pips instead of this. Let's take
Yeah,
for the trade that I took, one of the trades that I took, let's just say, I think I removed let me just undo this.